Okay. Today I wanted to use some of the movements from the All Seasons set. And interestingly, there's one movement um, that overlaps between All Seasons and Summer Fall. And that's the crane shaking its wings and the crane loosening its wings, which movements come from white crane Qigong. And remember that the white crane is a symbol of longevity in Chinese culture. And we want to try to embody the spirit of the crane with its long, fluid, smooth, and continuous movement. So there's something to think about. Interestingly, it's difficult for people to embody that feeling in the sense of softness and smoothness within the shoulders, elbows, joints. It's a little bit of a process and it's a journey, but I want to encourage you to really keep the mind focused in the joints and trying to soften and smoothen so you can get that lubrication of the joints. Now, one of the things I'd like you to keep in mind today as we do the fall summer fall set, keep in mind these three movements that we'll be doing from the all seasons. We're going to begin with them, but I'd like you to keep them in mind as we do all the movements from the all season, from the summer fall set. Okay, so the movements I'd like you to keep in mind are all having to do with the torso. And if you think about spinal wave, they connect in this way as well. So warming up the lower and the middle burner and warming up the upper burner. So in Chinese medicine, the torso is called the triple burner. And it's from the neck down to the pelvic region. It's called the triple burner in the sense that the cauldron is always working in these zones. So lower burner, middle burner, upper burner. Okay. So here's what we do though. So what's the movement associated with the burner? So if we revisit the spinal wave movement, the movement is an undulation, spinal undulation, and a spinal wave that softens and connects and smooths the joints of the vertebrae. So we start with the lower section. We do this by tilting the pelvis. To get a sort of broad stroke movement, you tilt the pelvis forward and tilt the pelvis back, like if you're sticking your butt out, and then if you're tucking your butt in. So you feel how this kind of like waves the tailbone, if you will, and it moves the hips forward and back. So we'll kind of stick the butt out. And then, so what you want to do is softly and smoothly tuck the butt in. And softly and smoothly stick the butt out. Connect that forward and backward motion to make it one seamless motion. Okay. Then the next thing that we try to do is connect that to the middle section above the tailbone. So what do we want to do? We want to, if this is the tailbone, we want to move the tailbone and allow that movement to travel up the spine in a soft and smooth, fluid way. So it's a little bit of a journey in the sense of how you experience and manifest that movement in your own spine. So a lot of times we'll put the hand on the abdomen, put the hand on the chest, or both hands on the abdomen, and project the mind into the spine to feel the spine as we're contorting and using the abdominal muscles or the lower back muscles. You're trying to feel how the soft tissues as well as the vertebral column, how all of those are sort of moving with the movement, with the exercise. I involve my legs in the sense that the legs are soft and the knees and the ankles are soft and they're holding my body weight softly. So for regulating the lower and the middle burner, you want to continue softly, smoothly, opening, closing, tucking, or sticking, the butt out. This is regulating the lower and the middle. There's a little bit of a rising and a sinking associated with the movement as well. So for example, I'll stick my butt out and bend my knees, and then I'll rise from there as I tuck in my butt and rise up out of that posture. There's an opening, sort of a uh, manifesting, growing opening, and then there's a closing, collapsing movement associated. If you involve the whole body, which is one of the principles, one of the concepts, is involving the whole body. So let's look at the upper burner now. The upper burner meaning the neck to the solar plexus area. For this will involve the shoulders. And notice how I keep uh, a smooth, fluid motion the whole time. Right now, I'm just now focusing on the shoulders. You can say I'm opening and closing the chest bow. But I'm using the lower burner movement to facilitate the upper burner movement, right? Because they're all connected, we have to harmonize the movement. Otherwise, one will be trying to doing one thing while the other's doing another. So what we're doing is just focusing on the upper section now, but we still are letting the lower section drive the movement and momentum. And so it's difficult to separate them in this way: lower, middle, upper burner. So what we try to do is just kind of look at one section by section while they're all still connected, and we're trying to harmonize all of them. And so there's this really nice, soft, continuous undulation that happens in the softness of the spine. There's an inhaling as you're rising. There's an exhaling as you're closing and descending. So I'm inhaling here. You can think of also or feel there's a lengthening and a collapsing, like a lengthening as you're opening. And then there's a contracting, if you will, not necessarily collapsing, but contracting. And we were talking about focusing on the upper section. Take a second to feel how, if you circle your arms and shoulders, how it affects the upper burner. So I'm inhaling, opening chest and shoulders, exhaling, closing, and sinking. Inhaling, opening chest and shoulders, exhaling, closing, and sinking. right? So it's good to have the movements you're doing. Maybe you're focusing on tucking in the abdomen, or you're focusing on circling the shoulders. Really, what you want to do is focus on the spine and experience softness in the spine and moving the spine section by section. So, with that in mind, let's now move to the um, summer fall set, keeping these three sections in mind and trying to integrate them into the movements of the summer fall set. So let's start with the swinging of the arms. And remember, keep in mind the spine, keep in mind the torso. Place some of your attention in the spine. Continue to feel the connection to the spine. Feel the impact in the spine. Feel the impact of the arms swinging. Feel that in the spine. Feel the impact of the arms opening and closing. Feel that in the chest bow and in the upper burner. Now we're going to turn to the side, put one foot forward, and we're going to incorporate toe and heel, and remember the three sections, and remember the spine and the softness of the spine as you're doing this movement. So try to feel the impact of this movement on the spine. Turn to the other side, switch sides. So maybe you put some attention on the hips and you incorporate the tucking and the sticking out that you were doing with the lower burner. See how that affects the movement. See if you're able to soften any tissues, soften the spine and any of the vertebrae in the spine. Okay, we're going to come back to the center now. We're going to come back to center. And as we transition to the next movement, I want you to revisit the lower burner, middle burner, and upper burner. So go back to that original movement and revisit it. Revisit the spinal wave. Try to move the spine slowly, section by section. Moving the spine slowly, section by section. And it takes a while for these movements to loosen up. So don't force the movement. Just try to feel connection. Feel the connection of your mind to the area of the body. If you can feel the connection there, eventually you can slowly open up those tissues, but don't try to force those tissues to open up, because it's likely that your tissues are not used to that, and that could create some uh, uncomfortable soreness. So it's just a slow, smooth process and a journey as well. So now we're going to go to the next movement, pulling the bow. Okay. Notice how I'm continuing to move my spine section by section. And now I'm going to go to the pulling of the bow. And it might be challenging to incorporate the spinal undulation with the movement. But I want to invite you to just give that challenge to the mind. Give that little bit of a mind workout, if you will, in opening and closing and pulling the bow, but also waving the spine and coordinating, harmonizing those movements. You're inhaling as you're opening, exhaling to close. Going at your own pace, breathing comfortably, breathing naturally. We're going to turn to the side, put one foot forward, and now incorporate the lower body and see if we can make a full body movement, softening the whole body. Careful leaning back. You don't want to lean back too much. That's going to be tough on the lower back. You want to move back by moving the lower body back. That's how you move back, by moving the lower body back. Mm-hmm. And that's going to give you the movement originating in the feet. So you want it to originate in the feet and then finish in the hands. And in this way, we can connect all the bows of the body to create a full body exercise. Inhale, move slowly back, and exhale, move forward. At your own pace, breathing comfortably, breathing naturally. Now we're going to turn to the other side, switching legs. So as you do this movement, you're exploring and inspecting the body, feeling any areas of the body where you feel the movement maybe gets stuck or where the movement skips or jumps and it sort of misses a section, because you want a nice, smooth, fluid motion from the feet to the hands, whereby the legs are opening and closing smoothly, the hips are swiveling smoothly, the spine is waving smoothly, the shoulders are opening and closing, all the way up to the wrists and hands. Okay, let's come back to the center and keeping in mind the original movement that we started with, the lower burner, middle burner, upper burner, movement and spine undulation. As we take a pause, as we break between movements, revisit the spinal movement. Revisit the spinal movement. As you do that, then also revisit your deep abdominal breathing. Bend your knees, soften your ankles, wave your spine section by section, promoting relaxation, promoting softness. Also, let your neck and head get involved as well, in the sense that the movement travels up the spine fully all the way into the brainstem. Brainstem entering the brain and entering the skull. So we're going to go to the next movement now, the windlass, making yourself a small Tai Chi soft fist, connecting the thumb, middle finger, index finger. And as you move your spine section by section, you're moving the windlass as well. Just really some nice, small, smooth circles, coordinating those movements with the torso and with the body fully. And explore the movement in your own body. Get a sense of the spine opening, the torso opening to move the hands and circle the hands. Sometimes the timing of the movement is challenging as well. So how do I time my hip movement to with the hands, right? There's sometimes it feels like one moves before the other, and there's that as well, because the movement originates in the feet and travels through the waist. So you might feel like the waist um, is a little bit ahead or behind the hands. Depends on how you look at it, actually. And we're going to turn to the side, put one foot forward now, and involve the legs. Same thing we did with the last movement, involving the legs to um, drive the movement as we rock forward and as we rock back. So you start to see a similar thread with all of these movements as we try to create a full body integrated movement with all of these exercises. We're going to switch sides so that the other leg is forward, continuing the movement. Now we're going to have some fun with the movement. We're going to revisit the infinity symbol, the figure 8, and we're going to connect both sides as we draw one circle, and then we finish and transition, come to the center, pivoting on the heels, and then drawing the next circle on the other side. And when you look at this movement, you see the figure 8 that emerges, or infinity symbol. And the important thing here is pivoting on the heels so that you can get the foot placement correctly. And let's bring it back to the center, bring the movement to a close. Now see if you can, in your nervous system, in your sensing and in your feeling, as you come to a standstill, see if you can feel and continue to sense the rhythm and pace that you've been moving at. Is it still there? Maybe it's connected to the breath. Almost like an inertia, like a movement inertia that sustains as your body's standing still. You can sort of invoke that same pace. You can revisit that pace or the inertia by undulating the spine, by revisiting the tailbone, abdomen, lower burner movement. So I want to invite you to do that. And feel your pace, your movement pace connected to that movement, the undulation of the spine. As you're breathing and you're moving, those are doing this the same, they're at the same pace. So I'm inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And you can sort of envision yourself doing those previous two movements, the windlass movement or pulling of the bow. And you kind of, if you're softening your senses, if you're softening your focus, you can sort of feel the inertia of those movements remaining in your nervous system. On the other hand, you also take the inertia of the spinal undulation and the spinal wave into the next movement. And that's also key. So we're going to go to immortal pushing the stone tablet now. And this one's going to be a little challenging. So you may just kind of put the spinal wave onto the side here for the most part, because the movement is a backward and forward movement of the arms and a rotation in the hips. So it's easy to see that there's a mostly horizontal movement in this posture. If you're comfortable with this, then I want to invite you to sort of inspect and explore the vertical movement in the sense of the spine opening and closing in this posture. I want you to breathe comfortably, breathe naturally, and breathe in sync with the movement of the arms. So what I'm doing with this movement is I'm inhaling as I push out, forward and back. And I'm exhaling to come back to the center. Exhaling, relaxing, and releasing tissues as the hands come to the center. And then I'm inhaling as the hands open. And don't forget to look back at your elbow, turning the neck, getting those neck tissues some stretch. Let's go ahead and put one foot forward. Explore the movement with one foot forward. Try to keep it smooth and continuous. Just as you would your breathing, because you wouldn't want to stop your breathing. So you don't want to stop the movement as well, because your movement and breath are connected. Notice how the leg posture influences the movement. You should have 1 foot forward. You should have 1 foot forward. Yeah, that's it. And so this way you'll feel when you have an opposite arm and opposite leg out, you feel the torso is more twisted. In this way, you're washing the internal organs as you twist from side to side. You're opening and closing the torso. You're washing the internal organs. You're even washing all of those tissues in the lower torso, around the spine, facilitating that circulation. And before we close off the movement, we're going to switch legs so that we can balance it out. All right, we're bringing this movement to a close, bringing the feet together, coming back to center, and try to stay with that same pace that you've established. Feel the inertia of that movement staying with you, staying with the nervous system, staying with the breath. We're going to take a quick break here, take some time to get some water, shake your legs out, get the heebie-jeebies out if you need to, and we'll come back in just a couple minutes after we get some water. Okay, we're coming back. And we're starting at the center, which is the center of mass, Dantian, and the spinal cord. As we revisit the lower burner, middle burner, upper burner. So we're going to go into the next movement. Large rock arcs its wings and spreads its wings. And so with this one, I think it'll be easy for you to see the connection of the three burners to spreading the wings and arcing the wings, okay? So let's first start off by softening the knees, softening the ankles, feeling the body's weight in the legs. You'll notice over time how the legs start to get strong because we're always putting our torso's weight in the legs. You always feel it in the thighs. And so in this way, the legs will get strong. Also will help to decrease lower back pain. Because a lot of times the torso's weight gets stuck in the lower back because we don't want to give it to the legs. But once we tuck in the tailbone and bend the knees, then we're able to give the weight of the torso to the legs. So now let's start with the undulation of the lower burner and the middle burner. As you're breathing, I hope you're still breathing, inhaling slowly, exhaling slowly, moving the spine section by section. So you want to softly wave the spine, softly wave the spine. This is going to also contribute to smooth functioning of the spinal cord, all the motor neurons connected to the spinal cord. So your movements of the extremities, legs and arms, fine motor movement of the wrists and fingers as well. So the next movement I'll show you is going to be lifting the hands and arcing the arms as you push forward. And so what I want to invite you to do is see how that movement coincides and coordinates with the spinal movement. So in theory, the spine is opening. With that opening, arms and hands are lifting, closing, arms and hands are moving out and forward. Spine's opening again as the arms and hands coming back. Spine's closing again as you're preparing for the next movement. Softly move the spine, opening the spine, lifting hands and arms, inhaling, exhaling, close the spine here, close the chest as well. Inhaling, opening spine, exhaling, closing spine, bending knees, descending. Notice the repetition here. Open the spine, inhaling, lifting hands, arms. Closing spine, bending knees, pushing forward, arms, hands. Inhale, back. Instead of going down with the hands, we're going to go out again. Exhaling. Notice how I bend my knees, seek my weight. Inhale again. And exhale. I haven't dropped the hands yet. I'm still repeating out and in. Inhale in, and go ahead and drop the hands this time. Down. Softly, smoothly, slowly. I hope you're able to feel the connection of the spine to the arms moving forward and back. So now we're going to put 1 foot forward. We're going to go to large rock, spreads its wings. It's going to be large rock spreads its wings back. As we spread the wings back, we're going to project the chest up, looking up. And so that's our opening movement. That's where we inhale deeply. And then we're going to exhale and relax all of that and release it. Like deflating, sinking the weight, bending the knees. Let's do that again. Inhale, spread the wings back. Like you're inflating yourself. Looking up, chest out, shoulders back and down, and deflate, exhale. Notice the yin and yang aspect of this movement as you breathe in and out, as you spread the wings, deflate the wings. Inhale again, spread the wings out and back. And exhale. See if you can feel sort of a charging of all the cells in the body. That's why it's important to engage the whole body. Inhale again, stretch the wings back. Exhale, release. Sink the weight, relax the wings. Circling forward and up, and then back again. Chest out and up, looking up, inhaling, rising. Exhale. Repeat that on your own, at your own pace. Inhale. Stretch, shoulders back down, elbows and hands back and down. Exhale, release. I'm going to switch legs. So put your other leg forward now. So I'm wondering and I'm curious if you're still feeling the breathing pace. Do you have a pace established in your nervous system that connects the movement with your breath? When you deflate, you release all the tissues to gravity, except the ones that require you standing. Inhaling, you're inflating, posturing up, spreading wings back and down. Exhaling, releasing, feeling all of that releasing of the tissues, feeling that happening. Trying to track all of the release of the tissues, and even trying to track the engagement of the tissues as you stretch them back. Inhale. Feel your body. Exhale, release. Feel your body. Look inside your body. Look at your cells. Inhale again, stretch back and down. And exhale. Come back to the center, finishing the movement. Pausing, looking at your own body, exploring your own body. And you might say, well, what am I feeling? What am I looking for? Or you want to feel any points of stagnation, any points that are locked up, or maybe you have a little bit of pain that's communicating to you. Why is there pain there? How do you relieve that pain or discomfort? You also want to feel the connection of your feet to the earth. Feel your connection to the top of the head, to the sky. Feel the three powers in harmony. So now let's put the hands on the knees, shaking the tail, wagging the head, getting the weight of the torso now off the lower back. Softly moving from side to side as you press your hand against your knee. Softly moving from side to side, feeling the lower back opening on each side relatively. Exhale, stretch, look back behind you. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, stretch again to the other side. Push against the knee. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, push against the knee. Try to drop your hips as well as you push the hand against the knee. Try to drop your hips as you look back. Take a break if you need to. Stand up. Otherwise, continue to shake your tail, shake your head, wag your tail. Okay, finishing the movement, coming back to center, dropping the hips, inhaling, rolling the spine, exhaling. Walking the feet in. Good. All right, thanks for following me here through all of these. We started, remember, with the lower burner and the middle burner, upper burner, spinal wave, softly waving the spine, connecting that original movement from the all season set and integrating that into all of these of the 4 seasons summer fall set. So we're almost done. We've got 2 more movements, and these 2 movements create a great and pose a great opportunity to revisit the spinal wave, spinal undulation. So we're going to begin with that movement again, softly moving the spine. No, it's difficult to see, so I'll kind of come forward here, and I'll show you the movement I'm doing. And hopefully you can see this soft wave-like motion through my whole body. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay. So the next movement is going to be baby bird receives its food. Baby bird receives its food. The next movement. And I know you guys are familiar with this. I want to invite you now to integrate spinal wave into this movement. Integrate the uh, opening and closing. Integrate the triple burner movement with the hands ascending and descending. So for example, I can walk you through it. Exhaling, descending, bending knees, pushing into the earth, extending legs, opening spine, lifting hands and arms. Inhaling, exhaling, descending, contracting, closing. Inhaling again, rising, ascending, opening, lifting hands and arms. Closing, descending, sinking, opening. Feel the movement connected to this subtle movement, the subtle waving of the spine and the vertebrae in the spine, or the vertebrae of the spine, rather. So, as Margaret always says, so many things to think about. Absolutely, so many things to think about. So that's the benefit of a movement being cyclical. Um, the cyclical aspect of the movement provides the mind and body connection a deeper relationship each time. So each time there's an opening or a closing, it creates the conditions for the mind and the body to connect with one another. Sensing, feeling, communicating. Sometimes it's on a muscle system. Sometimes it's a particular muscle. Sometimes it's the bones or the joints communicating. Sometimes it's the cellular level. So follow me for a second. Keep the hands here at the center. Keep the hands here at the center. Elbows are out. And now just focus on the spinal movement. Focus on the lower section, waving the spine. So I'm going to exaggerate here so you can see. I'm exaggerating. Hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders. Look, it goes into my neck and head. Hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders, going into the neck and head. So I'm trying to keep the arms still, keeping the arms still. Hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders, because I'm just focusing on the spine. So that's exaggerating, but I'm exaggerating for visual purposes so you can see the movement that's going through the hips, lower back, chest, and shoulders. Now I'm bringing the movement in. I'm not exaggerating, but I'm still accessing all of those tissues that I just displayed. Continue moving the spine, continue moving the spine section by section. Don't stop, don't stop. If I see you stop, I'm going to assume that you stop breathing too. So I don't want to see that because your mind and or your body and your breath should be moving together. So don't give me the impression that you stop breathing. So now let's take the movement to the shoulders. From the spine, from the torso, take the movement to your shoulders. Now take the movement to the elbows. From shoulders to elbows. Let the shoulders and elbows move with the torso. Not yet the wrist, not yet the fingers. We're going to add those in a second. Feel the shoulders, feel the elbows moving with the torso and the spine. Now let's move the wrists. Move the wrists. Shoulders, elbows, wrists. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, and fingers. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers. And sometimes you get behind too because you're thinking about your fingers, but the shoulders should start moving as soon as the fingers finish or even before. So shoulders, elbows, fingers, then shoulders, elbows, fingers. Whole body, keep sinking. Whole body, bend the knees. Bend the knees. Rising, shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers sinking, and then shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers. Yeah. Okay, let's bring it to a close. Inhale deeply. Slowly drop the hands. Good. Continue that feeling in the nervous system, that pace that you are at. Connect that to the dantian, connect that to the abdomen. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, final movement. Stay connected to the dantian, stay connected to your breath. And if you can, stay connected to your spinal wave. So as I'm in between movements here, I'm continuing to move my spine. So that kind of also, like, notice how that's kind of the anchor as well. The spinal wave's kind of the anchor for all of the movements. Each movement is like, you know, sailing off to the ocean, sailing to a distant island. And then the spinal wave is kind of coming back, anchoring back at home. Or if you're a space cadet, maybe you traveling to a distant planet. So whatever analogy you want to use, right? The spinal wave is like coming back to Earth. Each movement is like traveling to a different planet. So the last and final movement is going to be the crane loosens its wings. This is also going to lend well to spinal wave and lower burner movement, middle burner movement. From the hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders, we're going into shoulders, elbows. So it's kind of like if you're walking through a crowd and you just kind of like need to expand yourself, you're just doing that. Inhaling, shoulders, elbows, and then deflating. Exhaling, sinking. Inhaling, rising. Shoulders, elbows. Exhaling, deflating. Inhale. Exhale. Now go ahead and let the movement get bigger. Let the arms expand. Inhale. Exhale. And just let the hands come back down. Inhale. Shoulders, elbows, wrists. Exhale. Back down. Mosquito is coming out. Inhale. Shoulders, elbows, wrists. And exhale. Sinking, relaxing. Bend the knees right there. Inhale. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, and exhale. Good. Now, when you inhale, you're going to pull the elbows back, hands in. Exhale, circle out, in front and down. Inhale, pull back and up. Exhale, shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, forward, down. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, circle out and forward, down. Inhale, back, in. Exhale, out, forward, down. Before we close off the movement, let's exaggerate it and get some nice Big loosening of the wings. Inhale. Fully extend out and forward. As big as you can. Good. Now we're bringing the movement in, back to center, back from our planet or back from our island, whether you're an astronaut or captain of a ship. Bringing the movement in smaller and smaller. Feel the movement closing in. Till eventually there's no more movement. All there is back at home in your resting place, resting position. And just your breath. Use your vision, use your observation, look into the body. And connect your body to the ground. Connect your body to the earth via the feet. Feel the body's weight in the feet and feel the earth supporting you. Extend your spine, lengthen your spine up, lift your head up to the sky, slightly tuck in your chin. Feel the heaven also supporting you. And feel yourself in between earth and heaven. Feel yourself harmonized between these two great powers. Feel your breath connect you to these two great powers above and below. And that's going to complete our session for today. Just to remind you, what we did was we connected the all seasons movements with the summer fall set movements. And the nice thing about the three movements, they connect the spinal wave to all of the movements. So actually what we do is take that movement as the core movement and integrate it into all of the movements, from any Qigong movement to any Tai Chi movement. If you can um, master and integrate the spinal wave into all of the movements, then you're off to a great start. So that's the session for today. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those.